Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number biggest sale of the year. All beds on sale. Up to 50% off the limited edition smart bed, plus free home delivery with the purchase of any smart bed. Ends Monday. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
Hey everyone, it's Matthew Zachary, and if you've been following my work since the Cancer Mavericks, then listen up, because my next big thing is here, and it's called Walk It Off, Men Don't Talk About Cancer. And it's the first podcast documentary series where men with cancer talk about, everything they're not supposed to talk about. Sex, shame, rage, silence, caregiving, vulnerability. It's raw, it's honest, it's long overdue, and it's everything you'd expect from me. The trailer just dropped. So subscribe today and get ready to binge all 3 episodes when the series premieres on September 11th. It's personal, it's powerful, and it's time. To learn more and to have a listen, visit walkitoffpod.com. That's walkitoffpod.com, or just search for Walk It Off Men Don't Talk About Cancer wherever you get your podcasts. Hello friends, welcome back. I'm still on hiatus, but you are listening to a feed swap with a really important documentary I wanted to share with you called Lead. How this story ends is up to us. Today's episode, Fraying at the Edges. Episode 3, you're going to hear what happens when a neurotoxin hijacks a child's brain and the mother is forced to make impossible decisions in a rigged system. It's devastating, it's real, this episode hurts, and it's exactly the kind of story you expect to hear from this feed. As for Out of Patience, Season 9 returns September 9th, so be sure to subscribe and buckle up.
Lead. How this story ends is up to us. A true story written by Shannon Burkett, directed by Alan Taylor, starring Merritt Wever, Alessandro Nivola, Cynthia Nixon, and me, Cooper Burkett.
Shannon, what do you mean he spits up?
He spits up a little bit when he leans over or jumps around, or should he not still be doing this?
No. His system should have matured by now. He should be able to keep his stomach contents in his stomach.
I had noticed that when Cooper would lean over, he would spit up about 2 tablespoons worth of stomach contents. He was my second, so I thought it was unusual, but I didn't think too much of it. But at 16 months, Cooper contracted a stomach flu. After several days, his symptoms were not going away, and he couldn't eat. He would cry in pain all the time. After 8 days of this, he lost so much weight, he felt like a little baby bird in my arms. The pediatrician diagnosed him with gastritis and gastrointestinal reflux disease. The doctor prescribed him this medication, a proton pump inhibitor that inhibits gastric acid secretions, but since he was so little, he had to have it in a liquid form. There was only one pharmacy in the city that could make up the compound, Cherry's Pharmacy. By the time I got home from the doctor's and called Cherry's Pharmacy...
We're closing in 10 minutes.
Oh! Is there any way? My son, he is in so much pain.
I hear him in the background.
Yes.
I'll make it up for you.
Oh, thank you. I can't thank you enough. I'll call someone to stay with the kids, or can a friend come pick it up?
No.
I will be there. I just have to get someone to stay with him.
You're not going anywhere. You're going to stay with that baby. I'll get one of my people to bring it down to you.
I don't know how to thank you.
Just get that dose in him.
I will. I promise. Another angel. Out of nowhere, wings wet, unfolding only to curl around and cradle my son. It is so easy to lose faith in humanity, so easy to write humans off as self-serving, selfish, but then someone lifts you up in your desperate hour. Who sends these angels? Where do they come from?
Baby, you just shot that film.
We don't know the extent of Cooper's disabilities.
He's barely a toddler.
What if he never speaks again?
And what if he does?
I need to understand what's happening to him.
By getting a nursing degree? Most people would read an article. Not Shannon.
I loved chemistry. I am a closeted science geek. In college, while I loved studying acting, I couldn't wait for the phone bill to come so I could do some math. My roommates were happy about that. For those of you who don't know, the phone bill used to come in the mail, on paper, in an envelope with numbers on it. Lead, Pb, number 82 on the periodic table. Lead is a post-transition metal. Lead is very malleable, ductile, and dense. Superman can't see through lead. Lead is a very poor conductor of electricity. Its resistance to corrosion led the ancient Romans to construct their water pipes out of lead. There is a theory that lead poisoning was the cause of the fall of the Roman Empire. Once a week, life was contained in a 6-hour class. I got to learn about atoms and compounds, and life made sense. I could take an unbalanced equation and balance it. When I go to that place in my mind where numbers and atoms live, I see a gorgeous, moving image of compounds colliding. The angels. Is this where E equals mc squared? Matter is neither created nor destroyed. Matter is energy. Energy is matter. Look at the atom. Always striving, yearning for balance. Electrons, swirls of energy, pushing and pulling. Can you see it? Isn't it beautiful? Positive and negative forces trying to find peace. If my heart is breaking, if my heart is at its most desperate, does it send out a signal? An SOS indicating an imbalance, and by the laws of physics, attract someone capable of restoring that balance. Bring me to homeostasis, to balance. I was chasing after Cooper one day in the park, and I suddenly felt nauseous, and then I thought, I want hot dogs for dinner. And then I was like, oh, I'm pregnant, which I totally was, because you can only want to vomit your guts 1 minute and crave hot dogs like they were your last meal on Earth if you're pregnant.
Hey, Shannon, can we get rid of this baby stuff now?
Sure, hun. Cooper had some post-contamination baby things that were not fabric that we had put away.
Want to be nice to get rid of some of this stuff?
Yeah. I am bad at birth control. You need to know what you're good at and what you're not good at, and I am not good at birth control. To be fair, birth control is not good to me. My body reacts violently. I did not plan any of my kids. They all just showed up, knocked on the door, like, here I am. Here I was for the 3rd time, pregnant, but this time I didn't know how to keep this baby healthy. Was the apartment really safe? I was terrified and overwhelmed at the idea of keeping it safe from harm because I had failed so miserably with their brother. The lead hung in the air, metaphorically, metaphysically. Or was it still there? Is that it? One of the manifestations of the infestation was my obsession with cleaning everything that could possibly go into Cooper's mouth or could expose the new baby to lead. My almost nightly ritual began with filling 2 buckets of water, one with Cascade, because Cascade is one of the few cleaners that actually removes lead, and the other would be clean water, and I would scrub books. Yes, they would swell and warp, and toys in the soapy water, dunk them in the clean water, and line them up on a towel to dry. And I also bought mesh bags for the dishwasher, put everything I possibly could through that thing. I would have put my cats through if scuba equipment came in their size.
Andy, are you running the dishwasher?
Yeah, babe.
Can you grab the bag of the plastic cut veggies and put them in?
I'm not sure they'll fit. Can I just rinse them in the sink?
No, they need to go in the dishwasher with the Cascade.
This book is ruined.
It's clean.
Is all this necessary?
Andy, yes. And that bag of stuffed animals needs to go in the wash. He'll want the penguin for his nap.
And that's when I saw her hands. Baby, your hands. Your knuckles are cracked.
I'll put moisturizer on them.
They're bleeding. Why aren't you wearing gloves?
Because we don't have any.
You need to be wearing...
I don't have time! I don't have time! Are you gonna help?
Shannon, if you want to drive yourself nuts, that is your choice.
Fine, I'll just do it myself. Like I always do. Where is my shell? Can I make it big enough for all my babies?
This went on for years.
My youngest child never had elevated lead levels. Not once. The medication helped with the spitting up, but it didn't stop it completely. It was a process. Even on the medication, most mornings he would wake up and vomit what would look like yellow battery acid in my hands. Why is my son waking up in pain, screaming? I would pick him up after washing my hands and carry him to the kitchen, where I would place him on the counter and spend the next half an hour coaxing him, trying to get him to eat something to calm his stomach down. His little legs wrapped around my growing belly, a bite of yogurt, and then another, until the crying eased, and then the grimace, and then he would finally be okay enough to finish. At one point, he stopped eating. Toddlers don't eat much, but meals became a test of my devotion to him. Each bite took everything out of me. He became what is known as failure to thrive. His weight just dropped off the charts. We were about to take him to a food clinic when he started eating Caesar salads. Really? Would you have guessed that? But ironically, while getting him to eat food was the hurdle of my day, I also noticed that he was eating things that were not food. But toddlers put things in their mouth, right? But do they eat things? He also developed reactive asthma. Why? My son was essentially allergic to being sick. Why would he react to a virus the way another kid would react to a cat? For 9 months, he was sick every other week. Cooper had to have a lung x-ray done during a particularly bad bout, and unfortunately, when we went for the follow-up, we did not initially see Dr. Nicky. We were seen by the doctor with no bedside manner.
Got the results from the x-ray.
And?
Cooper got the attention of the radiologist. He said he's never seen lungs look like that. Only in kids with chronic lung disease, maybe. Severe cases like cystic fibrosis.
The other doctor said Cooper might have cystic fibrosis or something like that.
Did he actually say that to you?
The radiologist said the lungs were totally dark, like diseased. Does he have cystic fibrosis?
Why would you say that to her?
What? I'm just relaying...
You don't scare the living crap out of parents. First, do no harm.
That doctor didn't last long at that office.
What is causing Cooper's lungs to look so diseased?
It could just be a viral or bacterial infection.
Covering his entire lungs?
Some viruses are very nasty.
Why are his lungs so weak? Why is he sick all the time?
The GERD could be contributing. If the acid from his stomach is spilling over onto his lungs, the acid could irritate the tissue.
Can this permanently damage his lungs?
The question I kept asking and still ask is, why did he have GERD? Why is his stomach so acidic? And why is the epiglottis not able to keep the stomach acids and contents down in the stomach like it should? I had begun my anatomy and physiology classes and tore through my textbook, searching for the answers, reading articles, watching videos. He ate the lead. He didn't breathe in the lead, he consumed the lead. The lead entered his body through the digestive system. Is his body not able to keep the acid down because of the lead? If so, why? Lead affects the vagus nerve. The epiglottis is controlled by the vagus nerve. And what about the excess of acid in his stomach? Gastrin cells line the stomach. Did the lead change his gastrin cells? Damage the lining in his stomach in some way? Is his stomach not producing enough mucus to line the stomach? There are so many unanswered questions I have, and many parents of children of lead poisoning have. There is so little research, so little known about the disease.
Could all of this be causing Cooper's lungs to look like they do?
We should talk about the possibility of chronic lung disease, but I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We need another look, okay?
Okay. So I took Cooper to the hospital to get a repeat x-ray of his lungs. And needless to say, I was stressed. The tech calls his name, and I stand up, and this is when he says...
You can't go in with him.
Why?
Because you're pregnant.
Yeah.
You can't have radiation.
Oh.
You need to have someone to hold him down or reschedule.
When is the next appointment?
We're really backed up, not for a while. Maybe next week or the week after.
We need to see if he has chronic lung disease. Why didn't anyone tell me this when I made the appointment?
Did you tell them you were pregnant?
Well, I didn't know it'd be a problem. But let me try to find someone. I called Andy. They won't let me take him in.
I'm with the producer and director today.
Can't you just step out for an hour or two?
You know I can't.
Fine. I hate this business sometimes. I was desperate and called my friend, Jenny Maguire. You all have already met her. She was the voice of the heroine Jane from the EPA. Come here, Jenny.
We were sisters in the play Cave Dweller
at New York Theater Workshop. And she came to the hospital and held my child down.
It was intense. I didn't have a kid at that point.
So he could get his x-ray.
Remember when Cooper and I came out of radiology? Cooper was so not having it.
He walked like 10 feet around you.
Giving me the stink eye the whole time. I had to hold him down, like, hold that kid down. He was so mad at me.
Oh, welcome to parenthood. She took a shot of radiation for my child, another angel. You get to meet this angel in the flesh, so to speak. I will be forever grateful to her.
His lungs are clear.
They're clear?
Clear.
So what does that mean?
That he had a really nasty virus.
No cystic fibrosis, no chronic lung disease.
Nope.
So what do I do now?
You have the nebulizer and steroids at home?
Yes.
If he ever gets bad and you need to go to the hospital, try to make it to NYU. If you can't make it, go to the closest hospital, okay?
Okay.
There's something else I need to discuss with you.
Sure.
On the x-ray, it looks like his heart might be backwards.
Just add it to the list. Turns out, the x-ray was just read backwards. But some people are born with their heart backwards. Our youngest child was born in May. Cooper's health seemed to stabilize over the summer, so Andy was all ready
to get a vasectomy.
Yay! Our pregnancy problem was about to be taken care of. I'm definitely a child hoarder. I love children. I could have had 10, but I knew we had hit our limit. The night of Andy's vasectomy, he was recuperating on the couch, and I heard Cooper in distress in his room. It was fall, and he had started to get sick again. And even before I entered his room, I could hear his struggle for breath. I turned on the light, and his mouth and the surrounding area was blue, and terror filled his eyes. I grabbed him in one arm and the baby in the other, and I ran to Andy on the couch. Oh, he was hurting. And I thrust the baby in his arms so I could nebulize Cooper. He could barely breathe at all. I have to take him to the hospital now.
But what about the baby and my balls?
You're just gonna have to deal. I grabbed the first cab. Take me to NYU Hospital. I had called Dr. Vicky and left a message with her answering service. She called back while I was in the cab. I got some, but his mouth, the surrounding area is blue.
Can you make it to NYU?
I hope so. He can't breathe.
Inspiratory or expiratory?
He can't get any air in, and he can't get any air out.
How close are you?
Close. There are several kinds of breath sounds that can indicate where the restriction is, upper respiratory or lower. Usually the patient can't get any air in or they can't get any air out. Cooper could barely do either. To this day, even after working in a hospital myself, I have never heard anyone struggle to breathe the way Cooper did that night. We arrived at the ER and stayed until he could breathe. He was so jacked up on steroids, by the time we left, I thought he was going to jump out of my arms. His reactive airway asthma was a constant threat while he was young, but after the lead levels went down, his attacks became very infrequent. There would be years in between episodes, but when the dragon came back, it would come back with a vengeance. His oxygen levels would drop frighteningly low when his lungs were constricting, always keeping Dr. Nikki on her toes, and me in a constant state of alert. Cooper finally qualified for services when he was 18 months old. He had been slipping further and further behind developmentally. When the coordinator under early intervention, the program that provides services for children under 3 years old, looked at his case and file, she said to me,
"This child should have received services the moment he showed deficits from the lead. Between you and me, they really botched this. But I didn't say that. We're going to start him with speech therapy, but ask for more services if he needs them, okay?"
His behavior. I haven't spoken yet about his behavior because it is hard to talk about.
He became aggressive. He was like this wild animal, wordless and violent. His temper tantrums were not normal. The frequency. He would scream and throw his body and hit and kick and bite and wrench his body like he was trying to break free of it. And around the time he turned 2, he would leave the apartment, escape. I would hear the front door close and run to find him in the stairwell, heading down towards the lobby. I didn't feel like I could leave him with anyone, but there were times I had to. Once I was at my parents' house, and I needed to study for an exam for one of my classes, so I left Andy and my father in charge of Cooper, and then I heard...
Oh, shit.
Cooper was gone. I found him 7 houses away. When we would go on vacation, Andy would have to lock himself in a separate room with Cooper at night, put a piece of furniture up against the door to keep Cooper from escaping. I put a crib tent on his bed at home. We had one for Alice to keep the cat out because she liked to stand on Alice's chest in the middle of the night, but now I had to use a crib tent to keep my son in. He figured out how to unzip the tent from the inside, so then I safety pinned the zipper. He figured out how to unpin the safety pin, and then I tied a string from the zipper down to the bottom of the crib. He couldn't figure that one out, so he just bust through the zipper. So we had to lock him in his room. I would wake up in the middle of the night and run to his room, make sure he hadn't escaped to the streets of New York City. When Cooper was reevaluated, the social worker came to our home instead of helping me when I said he was escaping the apartment and we had to lock him in his room. This unhelpful social worker said,
"Just so you know, they can take him away from you for that."
The social worker said what?
That they can take him away from us for locking him in his room. It's a fire hazard.
But you're doing that for his own safety. This is just outrageous. What are you supposed to do? Let him wander the streets at all hours of the day and night? Look right here. I am writing in his chart that as a physician, I am telling you to lock him in his room for his own safety. If anyone ever says anything like that to you again, you have them call me. I would like to have a word with them.
I know I haven't named her as one yet, but Dr. Nikki, Jerry, her office manager, her tech, Alyssa, who made drawing blood a game for Cooper, they were angels. Who gets a kid to laugh when there's a needle in their arm? One time, I was looking at the charts climbing up the wall behind Jerry and noticed a thick chart, the thickest one of all. And I asked if that was Cooper's chart. And Jerry looked at me with her kind eyes and compassionate smile and said, "Yeah, Dr. Nikki had a small private practice. You actually got a human when you called. I am so grateful because I called many times, desperate to speak with a human. And years later, when Dr. Nikki had to close her practice because it was too expensive to run and she didn't want to sell it to a hospital, I cried, grateful that we had her when we did, sad for all the families who will fall through the cracks at the big conglomerate practices. Medicine shouldn't be like this, a business." Right around this time, the exact calendar day is blurry, but the shift, the moment is sharply etched in my mind. The realization, the acceptance that what was happening was not normal. Cooper was toddling around when I heard, and I look to see my toddler peeling and eating the sheetrock off the wall.
Lead was produced by Shannon Burkett, co-produced by Jenny Maguire, featuring Jenny Maguire, J.D. Mollison, Laith Nakli, Deirdre O'Connell, Carolyn Balmer, Zach Schaefer, and Monique Woodley. Casting by Elaine Aldeffer and Lisa Donadio. Music by Peter Sollett. Sound design by Andy Chris. Recording engineer Christopher Chavanis. For corresponding visuals and more information on how to protect children from lead exposure, please go to endleadpoisoning.org.